the Manning Report, and I'm James David Manning. In the event you didn't know that, just hang around a couple of minutes and I'll tell you 10 times in 10 minutes. We've got our special guest today, Jawara King, on the line, young man out of Washington, D.C. And Jawara, how are you?
Very well, thank you. I'm honored to be on your show.
Well, we're delighted and honored to have you on our show. You know, I was down in Washington a couple of years ago, back I think in 2008, at a press conference there at the National Press Club, and I think we met there for the first time. Is that right?
Yeah, I met you, Orly Tate, Spielberg, and Bob Schultz, and several other patriots when I started my preliminary investigation on Obama.
Yeah, and you were hawking a book down there as well. What book were you promoting at that time?
I have 4 books. I had my World Transformation book with me, but I addressed Obama in my Transform Your World Through the Powers of Your Mind.
Right.
And The Awakening of Global Consciousness. And I spoke to your office last week about writing a book on the CIA Columbia Obama sedition and treason trial.
Yeah, and I'm gonna talk with you about that. I believe that trial is open to a lot of interpretations by a number of writers. Of course, I'm not sure if you get anybody to publish it, because right now I'm wholly and completely blacklisted every possible way that you can think. But I wanted to have you on today mainly because I was inspired by your tenacity, your vision for writing, and your philosophical view of the world, but also as a young alleged African-American black man, you are not madly in love with Obama, and I find that fascinating. What do you got to say for yourself?
Yeah, well, overall, I'm hated by my own people. During Election Day, I got a lot of threats. People in Washington said, well, if we see you in the alley, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But just to give a quick history on my investigation into Obama, first of all, he was born to generations of Muslims. He was raised in Muslim nations. He attended Muslim schools where he was registered as a Muslim. In a 2004 interview with Kathleen Falsani, Obama said, I was raised by my mother, and my mother was a Christian. In 2007, after Obama declared his run for president, he described his mother as a Christian from Kansas and said, I was raised by my mother, so I've always been a Christian. Yet Ann Dunham, Obama's mother, married 2 Muslim men, so it was the Quran, not the Bible, that Obama would have been exposed to. His mother was atheist or agnostic, so Obama claiming to be rooted...
Now, she was an atheist, no doubt about it. She was an atheist. She was not a Christian. He lied on that one.
Yeah, so Obama claiming to be rooted in Christian tradition is a lie. Barack Obama Sr. was a Muslim, and Lolo Soetoro was a devout Muslim. His grandparents were Universalists, not Christians. Now, George Washington, also known as the father of our country, said, it is impossible to properly govern without God and the Bible. Obama said, Obama's quote, he said, I'm rooted in the Christian tradition. I believe there are many paths to the same place, and that is a belief that we are connected as a people. Now, here, Obama was defining universalism. Obama's Christianity was carefully constructed politically to appease traditional American voters. Jesus in John 14:6 said, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one, not even Obama, comes to the Father except through me. Obama can call himself a Christian, but according to the Bible, there is a clear requirement for one to qualify as a Christian. And according to Obama's speeches, interviews, and the history of him, that we know he doesn't meet that requirement.
Let me ask you a question, Jawara. I'm trying to determine why the church allows Obama to present himself as a Christian, and while some of the leading churches refer to him as such, when no church, I don't care who they are, would elect a pastor who had a Muslim father in Barack Obama Sr., was raised in a Muslim nation with a devout Muslim like Lola Soetoro, who has a full-scale Muslim name. And I have two questions for you, Jawara, and I want you to investigate for me because I know you do investigating reporting. Question number one, I want to know if there is any black church in America or alleged African-American church in America that has a pastor that has a full-blown Muslim name, like Abdul, or whatever Muslim names that are prevalent today. Any church that has elected any pastor with a full-scale Muslim name like Obama, I don't believe there is one in America. I don't believe there's one. But the other thing that I want to get to a little bit later on is Cleopatra Harris, who was the mother of Lieutenant Qual Harris, young man that was killed there in Northeast Washington outside of the Judah House of Praise Church because he was connected with the investigation of the passport break-in going back to 2008. But let's deal with the first question first. Why do you think church people can accept Obama's Islamic name and his Islamic culture and think that somehow or another he's a Christian and can lay hands on them and speak in tongues? Well, I don't know if they think he can speak in tongues, but you get the idea.
Well, actually, it's really the mainstream media's fault, because in order for the mainstream media, in order for them to have been able to market Obama to America and for the public to fall for the Obama brand, Obama had to convince voters that he was a bona fide Christian. And then, according to the official 9/11 story, which I don't believe in the official story, it puts the United States at war with Islamic fundamentalists. So Obama had to make attempts to obliterate his Muslim roots. But real Bible believers know he's not a Muslim, because Obama doesn't honor the central tenets of the Christian faith. He's a supporter of special privileges of homosexuals, which is totally against the biblical prohibition on homosexual sodomy. He opposes the historic, traditional, and biblical standards of the Christian faith as far as homosexuality is concerned. And his conversion to Christianity was opportunistic because Jesus was used by Obama as a hollow campaign promise. And actually, America was warned about Obama, but the warnings were covered up by the media. At that time when I met you at that press conference, I got some information from some missionaries working in Kenya. A lady named Celeste Davis, who's married to Lauren Davis. They're Christian missionaries in Kenya. They've been there for over 20 years. They sent letters to PolitiFact in April 2008 warning about Obama, but the letters were ignored. In the letters, Celeste Davis says, quote, "We are now living and working in Kenya for almost 12 years now and know his family tribe well. They are the ones who were behind the recent presidential election chaos here. Obama, under friends of Obama, gave almost $1 million to the opposition campaign, who just happened to be his cousin, Raila Odinga,
right,
who is a socialist trained in East Germany. What we would like you to know is what the American press has been keeping a dirty little secret. Obama is a Muslim, and he is a racist, and that is a fulfillment of the 9/11 threat that was just the beginning. Jihad is the only true Muslim way. We have been working with him for 20 years this July. He is not an American as we know it. Please encourage your friends and associates not to be taken in by those that are promoting him. By the way, his true name is Barack Hussein Muhammad Obama. Take over from the outside to fit the New World Order." End of quote. This was April 2008.
Jawara, and you can continue with that in just a second, but can you get me a copy of that letter from those two missionaries in Kenya and whatever documentation that, not that I'm doubting you, it's just that, we try to document everything. Could you forward me a copy of that, and we can post that up and begin to circulate that, because a lot of people have not heard of that letter, and you're right.
Yeah, it was suppressed.
Right.
That's when I found out Obama was a fraud, because he was on TV claiming he was a Christian, and yet these missionaries are crying out from Kenya like, hey, that's Barack Hussein Muhammad Obama. We've been here 20 years. He's bad news. She sent these letters to PolitiFact in April 2008. They were just ignored by everybody.
PolitiFact didn't publish them, obviously.
No.
Yeah, okay. All right, could you get me a copy of them? Could you send it to me so I can try to publicize them? Like, this is not too late for that information. That's compelling information, and people may be more open to hearing it now than they were back in 2008.
Yeah, the woman's name is Celeste Davis, and her husband his name is Lauren Davis. They have a missionary ministry in Kenya. So then, when they were crying out and the news was covering it up, and Obama claimed to be a Christian, then I really, really, really had to look into it, and then I found out that his biggest fan is Muammar al-Gaddafi.
Well, he's trying to knock him off his throne now. Listen, Jawara, I got 2 minutes left. And just delighted to have you as a guest today. We'll get you back. But are you aware of Cleopatra Harris, who lives there in Washington, D.C.? Last heard she was living in Northeast Washington. Mother of Lieutenant Qual Harris, found shot dead 24 hours after being released from court there in Washington regarding possession of American Express cards, passport applications, and phony stolen credit cards as well, but connected to the passport break-in by a firm out in Alexandria, Virginia, that handles passport applications, Social Security numbers for the U.S. government. He was killed.
I heard about it, but I didn't have a chance to investigate it. But I know Obama had something to do with it.
Do you have any idea of how to track down Cleopatra Harris? She's got to have some friends, and I believe she's been paid handsomely to not push the issue about her son's death. She's clammed up like a New England clam. Is there anything floating around in Washington about that as far as you're concerned?
Not that I know about, but I know it was an organized, structured hit. But I haven't had time to really go into it. But I should know something by next week.
All right. Just wanted to drop that. You're about to say something.
I wanted to read this quote from Gaddafi real quick because I read the letter.
All right, you got 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds, Jawara.
Okay. On June 11, 2008, on Al Jazeera TV, Muammar Gaddafi spoke to an audience. And he said, quote, a black citizen of Kenyan African origins, a Muslim who studied in an Islamic school in Indonesia. His name is Obama. All of the people in the Arab and Islamic world and in Africa applauded this man. They welcomed him and prayed for him and his success, and they have been involved in the legitimate contribution campaign to win the American presidency, end of quote. See, Gaddafi was convinced Obama is a Muslim and cheered the possibility of a Muslim brother as a president.
He called him a son of Africa, a son of Islam. I know he called him a son, and definitely did embrace him. Listen, Jawara, you've been a great guest today. Quite informative. You brought a lot of information to the Manning Report listeners, so we appreciate and applaud you, sir, for a great interview today. We're going to get you back, so hang tight. Elizabeth will be calling. We can talk more in depth about these topics you've raised today. But
I've been investigating Obama since like 2007, but a lot of, especially black media outlets, nobody really wants to hear what I have to say.
Well, I know that. You know how well I know that. But listen, thanks. God bless you, young man. We'll talk a little bit later. All right, everybody, let's go to a break, and we'll be right back with more of the Manning Report.